Hello, and welcome to today's episode of the How to Choose Happiness and Freedom Show. I'm your host, Lauren Foster, happiness teacher, founder of Be Happy First, and author of Happy and Free on Purpose, Daily Practices to Live and Love Your Life, my new book that I'm so proud of and so anxious to get into the hands of as many people as possible. So for that reason, if you wind up on our newsletter, for any reason, if you sign up for any of our free meditations, the free study guide that goes with the book, if you just sign up for the newsletter, however you get connected and in the Be Happy First tribe, we put you in a drawing for a free autographed copy of the book, plus a free 30-minute one-on-one coaching session with me that I hope will be of great value to you. So just go over to laurengfoster.com and get involved however the Spirit moves you to do so, and we'll be happy to have you as part of the Be Happy First tribe. Now, on to today's episode of the How to Choose Happiness and Freedom Show. I am so honored and thrilled and happy and excited about having Tricia Dycka, the Happy Empath, on our show today. Welcome, Tricia.
Thank you so much for having me, Lauren. I'm so excited to be here.
So we're going to, as a reminder, wherever you are watching or listening to this, if you just look down, we will have all kinds of show notes and links on how you can find more information about Tricia and connect with her and learn more about this crazy thing called being an empath. So as we were talking about before, Tricia, a lot of my audience doesn't really even know what an empath is. So why don't you start by telling us your story of how you figured out that you were an empath?
Okay. So about 10 years ago, I woke up one day and it was like in September, and I just thought, I'm not feeling anything. Like I literally was like in a zombie mode. And I'm like, this is weird. And then just things started progressing. And I still, for about like a month and a half, 2 months, Thanksgiving time, it was like the pressure cooker exploded. And all of the emotions that for many years I shoved down, took on as mine, decided it was time to deal with it. And I had no idea what was going on. All I knew is that I literally was a sobbing mess every single day. And my poor husband was like, how do I help you? What is wrong? And I literally said, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. He's like, how could you not know? You are hysterical. And I said to him, I don't have answers for you. And right through Christmas, this went straight. And I love being around people and I love the holidays. And I think I put up a tree with lights and that was it. I pretty much hid as much as possible, thinking that I was going to be okay, you know, in the four walls of my house. And that didn't work for me. And like we went to Christmas parties and I had this big old smile on my face, but I just kept thinking, I got to get away from these people. I can't handle this. I got to get away from these people. And I engaged and I just like, I got, you know, and as soon as we would leave or get in the car, the waterworks started again. And I would be at work, literally getting up from my chair, going into the bathroom in the stalls and just silent sobbing. And I finally said to myself, I'm like, dude, this is so not you. This is not you. This is, and I don't care what you call it, universe, God, source energy. I not my proudest moment, said, I can't live like this anymore. I don't want to live like this anymore. I'm going from emotion to emotion to emotion. I don't understand what's going on. I'm crying every day. My eyes are swollen. I don't want to wake up tomorrow because if this is the rest of my life, I don't want to do this. And the next morning I woke up like, seriously? I said, well, then what is this? What is going on? I can't do this. And that day, I received a message from a friend on Facebook, and she says, we need to talk. I've got a message for you. And I said, okay. And then we spoke that night, and she says, I was told to, and I guess the universe spoke to her or however she got her messages. She goes, you're an empath. And I go, yeah, okay, whatever, crazy lady, you know, whatever. And I remember telling my husband that night, and I said to him, I need to go to sleep. I'm just totally drained. And that morning he woke me up. He's like, you need to get up and read. because I have gone online and I've done so much research, and this is you. And I'm like, okay. So I started to research and I'm like, oh my God. And so much clicked into place right then. You know, for example, in about fourth or fifth grade, I don't recall, I would cry the first 3 weeks of every school year, all the way through to college. I would cry afraid of dying. And what kid do you know at that age cries like that?
Right.
And I remember going to Disneyland with the family because it was a vacation my parents took us on, and again, hysterical almost every day.
And you were afraid of dying.
I was just so unhappy there. Like we went, it was like the beginning of summer and we went, and I was just so miserable. My mother's like, I don't understand this. You're in Disney World. What are you crying over?
Right.
Like, and again, so at that point I was pretty much, sensitivity is bad, showing emotion is bad, my intuition was bad, shove it down, shove it down, shove it down, hide it, cry when nobody's watching you. And it all just exploded. So, you know, I felt, yeah, and it was just awful. It would be days of anxiety. I mean, I literally felt like I was climbing out of my skin, and days of depression and days of just frustration and anger. And it would be like, I don't even know if I was on, just seriously, I was on a roller coaster. We were going up and we were going down. Those moments of happiness and joy, I was like, please give me more. But these are some of the things that led me to understand my uncontrollable feelings of emotions, feeling them deeply, taking them on as mine. And I realized immediately there are so many other things to know if you are an empath, but one of the biggest ones is understanding our own energy. If we don't understand our own energy, we're picking up stuff all day long, all day long.
Okay. So let's stop for a moment of clarity here and give it what exactly is an empath.
An empath is somebody who picks up emotions that are not theirs. They feel them deeply, they take them on as their own. They also pick up physical issues from other people. I remember being at the mall and I'm fine. And I'm walking around. Next thing I know, one of my hips went out. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fall. And it came on so fast that I said, hold up. At this point, I also understood what was going on. And I said, this is not mine, because I was fine 10 seconds ago. And I remember saying to the universe, you have to remove this, and it was gone, So another great example is, as I woke up really jazzed one day and I went to work, I literally sat at my desk and I'm tired, sleepy, and I have a wicked headache. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, I actually need Advil. My head hurts so bad. And then I heard a coworker say, I barely slept. I have a really bad headache. And I'm like, no.
Wow.
So, yeah. So it's emotional, it's physical, and it's mental. And I've had a lot of empaths, a lot of clients come to me saying, I'm so unclear today. I'm confused. I can't make a decision. I can't. And I would say you have what I call the empath fog. And that means you're picking up a lot of confusion from the world around you. And it was funny because I remember this happened to me. I went into the mall during Christmas time and I had a list. I knew exactly what I wanted. And I went with my husband and he literally stopped and he said, you look like a squirrel running in the middle of the street right now. He goes, what happened? We have a list. We know what we're doing. And I literally could not formulate a sentence. And he's like, all right, you need to stop and breathe. And I'm like, what happened? I'm like, literally, I had direction. I had a clue. And I got in there and I did not. So there is picking up confusion and that inability to make a decision or have a sentence clearly, or sometimes things like, what do you want for dinner is, I don't know, just so these are ways you can absolutely pick up stuff as an empath. And I will take it one step further. And when my gifts grew, I started to hear people's emotions. I started to hear things in my head and that freaked me out a little bit because I didn't understand it wasn't mine. What ticked me off about that, well, what made it clear about that was I was sitting next to a girl at work, and she was having a really hard time with her teenage daughter. And she's like, I can't stand her. I do not want to go home with my kid. And I'm like, I remember looking around going, I just heard that in my head. And I
Wow.
went, oh my God, okay. We've added another layer. So it's like empaths have antennas, and we're picking up so much energy constantly. We're very sensitive to what's going on. Like one really good sign is, and I love this, I do, having people come up to you and they tell you their stories, their problems, their issues. And I love dealing with the people that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, because they tell you stories that you're like, oh my God, I wasn't there for that, but this is amazing to hear. And they'll pat my hand and say, I have no idea why I told you. You just look like a sweet soul, and I feel just so much better and so much happier. Thank you. And I'm like, I find that so many people stop and tell me stuff, and they walk away and say, I feel so much better, and I don't know why.
Right. Okay. So I want to come back to that too, in the way of how you turn this curse into a gift, how you acknowledge that it is a gift instead of feeling it as a curse. But first, I told you before that I witness people in my life all the time that have this, overwhelming anxiety and panic and depression and all of these things that you're describing. And I believe in my heart that they are empaths. But at the same time, I also believe that we are all experiencing an exchange of energy. So what makes the difference between somebody who is like you, an empath, and somebody who is not? I mean, they're no one's oblivious, are they? So explore that notion with me. That I mean, what percentage of the world are empaths? What give us a little more, just kind of information about what distinguishes empaths from other people and that kind of thing.
Well, everything is energy. Emotions are energy, emotion. Our whole world, everything are depending on the denseness of the energy, which will create our desks, our computers. So everything's vibrating at way different frequencies to keep things together, or it just kind of flows.
Right.
Now, empaths, you can be an empathic person where you sympathize and empathize with people who tell you stories, and you feel what they're going through. It doesn't affect you. You move right on. Empaths actually take that in. And if they don't know, they're holding it on as theirs. However, I call empaths the cleaners of the universe. I am like
the what of the universe?
Cleaners.
Cleaners. Okay.
So what I think is it comes through us. We're not meant to hold on to it. We're not meant to take it on as ours. We're not meant to heal everybody or fix everybody. To me, it comes through me, and then the universe and the earth come in and they handle it. They clear it. They transmute that energy as it's coming through us. I find we're more aware once we know it's not ours. But when we don't, we get into those levels of anxiety because you're picking up so much and you don't realize it. I was living with anxiety every single day. I was going to bed with it. I was waking up with it. I mean, it just depletes you and it drains you and you're exhausted. One of the tools, I would love to share a tool, figuring out what's mine and what wasn't, was instrumental. That is what I call the empath symbol, and that you can have anything. I just happen to like large animals, so mine was a bear. And I asked the universe to show me my bear when what I am picking up is not mine, when I'm feeling emotions that are not mine. And in the beginning, it was literally 90 to 95%. And if you're paying attention, you're being present to your life, the universe shows you your symbol in myriads of ways, very inventive. I would get emails with bears on it. Nobody knew. I didn't share this with anybody. So I was getting emails. I was getting messages with bears in it. It was on my social media feed. It was
on the side of a bus, on a billboard.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A car, I remember having a really bad day and the license plate said, "Bear with me." And I went, okay, you know, and there was one time we went to Best Buy and my husband knew what was going on and he saw me ratchet up. He saw those anxiety levels go. We walked in and on every single TV was a bear. So I was like, because I didn't trust what I was hearing at that point, I said, well, prove it to me. And I kid you not, a woman walked right in front of me saying, "Lions and tigers and bears, oh my." I said, okay, all right. And once you become accustomed to how much you pick up, you're like, wow, that anxiety level starts to drop.
Right.
That, now that depression that you were feeling is kind of just flowing through you instead of getting stuck. So, you could pick things up from TV, books, movies, YouTube videos. Social media is huge.
Right. And
So,
well, I mean, even just from the ether, right?
yes,
With the energy during the pandemic was just palpable, even out here in the middle of nowhere. I could feel that. Okay, I want to say all of that back to you, and make sure that I understand it and see if you want to clarify. So if I am an empath suffering from this not being able to distinguish what's mine and what's not, I choose a symbol, anything that's important to me. If it was a bear for you, it could be a butterfly, it could be a triangle, it could be a foot, it could be anything at all that you choose as your symbol. And then you just ask the universe to use that as a sign to show you when what you're feeling is not yours and to help you let it go and help you let it flow on through you, taking away whatever it needed in its visitation with you and to allow you to return to your own peace and your own emotion.
Absolutely.
That's okay. All right. There's so many people that I still want to hear this, though. I wanted to make sure that it was very, very clear. All right. So now let's I was on Tricia's show the other day on her Facebook page, and we talked about the how you deal with other people with negative energy. And I thought a lot about that after that. I'm like, what I think the first step is, what do we want from these people? Do we want to help? Or do we want to just be civil, and have a relationship like a coworker that's not necessarily intimate, not necessarily on some other level? Or do we just want them to go away? And, it's a valid choice. We don't have to be in the company of anybody that we don't want. But talk to me from your point of view when you are a person who is required to be in the midst of a lot of people. I'm fortunate in that if I am overwhelmed by the energy of the world, I can just come home where there's no one except my animals, and their energy is always pure. But not everyone has that luxury. So give us some life skills and tools for being out in the world around other people.
First off, I'm all about taking care of yourself. People are like, I don't have the time. You have 5 minutes you could do in the morning. You have 5 minutes in the afternoon. If you work, you could use your lunch break. And again at night. Now, if you have clients, schedule enough time between clients so that you give yourself a break. Like I spoke to a client and she said to me, she goes, my energy was totally depleted. And I said, but why? And she told me her day, and she literally had back to back to back. I said, all right, did you eat and did you go to the bathroom? Dead silence. I'm like, oh, please. I'm like, no, right there, we've got an issue. You gave yourself no downtime.
Right.
And if you work, you can go outside and put your feet in the grass. Mm-hmm. You can sit in your car and watch a YouTube video of some type of nature. And that actually helps you calm down tremendously and let go of what you've picked up. I mean, these are all quick and easy things. Like in the morning, I love to journal. I love to set up my day. I love my coffee. I pick an emotion of how I want to feel. I used to work with this individual who was he was high up and he was rough to deal with. And I remember catching myself literally folding in before having to deal with this individual. And I remember going, hold up, no, 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 no. We're not doing that. We're going to walk in with our shoulders back, our head high, and we're going to, if we're asked to do something or we're asked questions, you know what? Let me think about this. What's the easiest way to handle this? Instead of jumping, because people get nervous and they have to jump to respond. Let me think about this. Let me figure out the best way to do this. And in your mind, what's a win-win here? Now, I mean, there are some people you may, if you do have a 9 to 5, that you may have to work with that you don't want to. And a tool I implemented when I had to deal with this individual is I would visualize, like, let's say I knew I had a meeting. I was like, oh, we need to, I would visualize the outcome of the meeting or how everything can be a win-win. And that's the energy I was going in with. I was not, and as soon as I had that, it was a huge shift, a very big shift. So, you know what, but there's also people in our lives, such as family members and friends. The universe, as you grow and expand, will distance those relationships for you. And sometimes family members, you just need to give yourself a breather and a break and maybe not engage as much as possible. I had an individual come to me and she was like, she's very difficult, Mom. And I says, well, how about not talking to her every day? How about giving yourself a break? And she started to do that, and she pulled back and she pulled back. She's like, oh my God, I feel so much better. So, you have to put your peace of mind. As empaths, it's so important to have emotional peace, peace of mind, physical peace, spiritual peace, because otherwise, if you're not, you're constantly tight, you're tense, you're rushing to help people that A, may not want it, B, maybe you're not meant to help that person because they need to help themselves first. Like I was the big people pleaser and fixer upper. Like I would rush to do all these things. And I had a huge epiphany one day. Something happened with my sister and my nephew. And I was like, all right, no, break it up, da, da, da. And I just stopped and I just went, this is not my business. This is not my business. Have at it, guys. And I left the house. And I said, that was when I stopped being the fixer-upper and the peacemaker, and knowing enough that I need to leave for my own sanity than getting involved. These are not easy things to do because empaths, we love to help. We love to take care of things. And you need to take care of yourself first. Right? You need to put yourself first. You need to find that time in the day to have that peace, to have that fun, to enjoy your own lives. Because if you're trying to do it for everybody else, we tend to put ourselves last. And at the end of the day, whether we're dealing with clients or have that 9 to 5, we're depleted that we want to either zone out in front of the TV, go to bed. But now you're not there for yourself. You're not there for your friends and family of those whom you want to be there for.
Yeah. So, and I want to make the point, everybody listening, that everything that Tricia is saying applies to everyone, especially to empaths, but it applies to everyone. We are all exchanging energy and we are all responding to one another. And as women, especially, we're kind of hardwired to serve, and that's okay. And it is okay to help, but you can't serve from an empty vessel. So you have to fill yourself up first, and you have to and it's in everybody's best interest for you to take care of yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So that means saying no.
Yes.
Because when we say no, we say yes to ourselves. And I love, and I share this constantly. If you don't know what you want to do, I will get back to you. Let me think about it. Yeah. Nobody can get upset with you. And then you step back and say, is this a hell yes or a hell no? Because if you say yes, then you resent and you're angry at yourself for saying yes. Right. Or the same thing, you want to say no without feeling guilt and, getting, again, angry at yourself. So step back and feel into, is this something that I really want to do? Is this something that will fill me up? Is this something that will, let's say, help me get to my next level or make sure it's something you want to do. I mean, we say yes, we're so quick to saying yes.
Yes.
Let
Yep.
me help you. Let me help you.
Yeah. And in the entire world, most of us are reacting instead of taking a moment to choose how we're going to respond. And it's always better to have a mindful response than a knee-jerk reaction to whatever it happens to be, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
And if you're not sure,
Yeah.
ask the universe.
Yeah.
You always have that connection to that, your higher self, universe, source energy, God, again,
Whatever,
you
yeah,
call it.
whatever the word is, right. There is no question that the universe doesn't have the answer to, no matter what. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, I have loved this visit with you so very much, Tricia. Thank you very much for being here with us today. So, guys, if you're listening to this and you're thinking of somebody that we're describing in this video, share it with them. Help to get this really healing information to the people who are struggling so much, and it's so prevalent. It's that these are not oddballs off on the side here and there. They're everywhere. I know so many who are struggling in this way, and this would be so helpful for them. So if you like this video, if you love this video, if you share it, if you subscribe, however you can help to shine your light and help this mission of uplifting women, uplifting people, uplifting empaths, please do that. That's awesome. Awesome. Tricia, do you want to say anything else before we say goodbye?
Guys, the biggest thing is the happier you are within, the easier emotions flow through you. Mm-hmm. Make yourself happy. Take care of yourself.
Make yourself happy. Be happy first. Yeah. and that's our mission here. Awesome. Well, Tricia, we're going to stay in touch for certain, right?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, guys, next week, I am not sure exactly who my guest is going to be, but it's going to be awesome, just like this was. And so be sure to come back here and check in with us frequently. We'll be back very soon. In the meantime, remember, happiness is a choice. You can always choose to be happy first. I'll see you soon. Say goodbye, Tricia.